I think the one place where the greatest consternation would be caused in the short term for admission, having nothing to do with the merit and preparedness of the country to come in, would be to admit the Baltic states now in terms of NATO-Russian US Russian relations. And if there was ever anything that was going to tip the balance, were it to be tipped in terms of a vigorous and hostile reaction, I don't mean military, in Russia, it would be that.
And last question, Sebastian Smith of AFP.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Ukraine wants a clear yes or no on getting into the NATO membership action plan. So what's your answer? And if I may, a second part to the same question. Well, now that Russia has invaded parts of Ukraine, does that effectively rule out Ukraine ever entering NATO, given that being in NATO would mean the US and NATO having to defend Ukrainians against Russia? Thank you.
The second question is, the answer is no. The first question, it depends on whether they meet the criteria. The fact is they still have to clean up corruption. The fact is they have to meet other criteria to get into the action plan. And so it's, school's out on that question. It remains to be seen. In the meantime, we will do all that we can to put Ukraine in the position to be able to continue to resist Russian physical aggression. And it will not just depend on me whether or not we conclude that Ukraine can become part of NATO. Will depend on the alliance and how they vote. But I know for one thing, they have to convince, and it's not easy. I made a speech years ago to the Rada saying that Ukraine had an opportunity to do something that's never occurred in the history of Ukraine. Actually generate a democratically elected and not corrupt, led by oligarchies in any of the regions, nation. And I pointed out to them when I made that speech that they will go down in history as the founding fathers of Ukraine if in fact they do that. They have more to do, but that does not justify the fact they have more to do. Russia taking aggressive action either in the Donbass or on the sea or in any part of Ukraine. And we're going to put Ukraine in a position to be able to maintain their physical security.